Hello and a very good evening and welcome to another edition of the Handle League Netball Show for another Wednesday night. Great to have your company. Round 10 action underway this weekend. We're at the halfway mark. Well, so many narratives still to play out over the next 9 weeks with ladder positions so very tight and some really interesting results over the weekend. As I welcome Kate Lindsay to the co-host chair. Kate, another great weekend of Handle League Netball.
It was a great week, Hilly. Before we talk netball, just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Facebook told me that it's a milestone 40th.
Yeah, I wish Facebook wouldn't tell those sort of things.
So happy birthday to you and also to your regular co-host Trish Butters.
Yeah, Trish, funnily enough, we share the same birthday, Trish. So yeah, happy birthday to Trish. I've been on the text and let her know that we've sent many happy returns for her to have a great day. But thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't feel 40, but if I took my beanie off, you'd think I'm 60.
I might. But yeah, a great weekend of netball, and you know we preempted it last week that it was going to be a fantastic round, and it lived up to expectations in some aspects, and then other games probably blew out a little bit more than what we thought. But we'll talk about them later.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we've got two great guests tonight from the Cobden Netball Club. We're going to speak to Nadine McNamara, and also from the Portland Tigers. They got their first win of the season on the weekend. We're going to talk to Katie Zoynet, which is fantastic that both Nadine and Katie have made their time available tonight on this Wednesday night. We're going to go to the Zoom straight away and we're going to go to Cobden. We're going to catch up with Nadine McNamara. Nadine, thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's been a great start to the season for the Cobden Bombers, and obviously it was the big match last week against the South Warrnambool Roosters. Probably not the scoreline you guys would have envisaged. What was sort of the aftermath and the chats and the discussions amongst the coaching staff and the players?
Yeah, look, probably a bit of an anticlimax after the first 8 rounds. Everyone's been talking about it, so we're well aware of the expectation that we probably didn't live up to. Saying that though, look, disappointing game, disappointing result on our behalf, but full credit to South Warrnambool. The girls and Will, they were absolutely outstanding. In particular, their one-on-one defensive pressure was incredible. We really lacked work rate. We lacked options to ball. They really isolated our ball carrier, and we made lots of errors. So incredible effort by South. I think for us, lots of positives and lots of learnings that work rate and multiple options to ball are easily fixed. So hopefully the next couple of weeks, I have no doubt that Sophie Hinkley will have training plans ready to rectify that.
Nads, you touched on South, and obviously it was a fantastic game, and we probably expected it to be a little bit closer. But looking back on your first part of the season, your starts have really been good. You've always been able to get off to a really good start. Was there anything that stood out to you on the weekend? You obviously were down by 8 at quarter time. Anything that sort of was glaringly obvious, or it was just maybe the pressure from South?
I think our preparation probably wasn't great leading into the game. We've had a couple injured and a couple unwell and limited at training, and our warm-up probably wasn't fantastic. So I think that may have played into it, but we can't make excuses. Like, South were absolutely amazing, and we probably went out there and weren't ready for that type of pressure. We haven't probably faced that all season, and I know now that that we're going to have to make sure that at training that we're continuing to lift the bar and make each other accountable to emulate that. And I'm sure our opponents in the next couple of weeks will be as well, for it to be great for us to work through there.
Hey, Nads, I'm really interested from an oppositional viewpoint. Obviously, you guys have had some great battles over the last 12 to 18 months. They've been super to watch. Was there much difference in the way South went about it in comparison to last year, where you guys were very tight in the games that you played? Had they changed much from your viewpoint?
I think it just got better. Like, I think their game plan's probably pretty similar. I think adding Ali O'Connor frees up is to play in wing attack, and also Meg Kelson was absolutely outstanding. Her ability to kind of shut down our second phase centre pass was incredible, and so I think they've just upped the ante. They're all looking super fit, super strong. Their closing speed was incredible. Their ability to set plays and create intercepts that we thought may have been a solid pass, and then they've come through with their closing speed. So I think they've just upped the ante. So it's now on the rest of the competition, including us, to work on that for the next 9 rounds so we can be contenders potentially in finals.
And that starts this weekend, Nads. You come up against Croydon, so it's 2v3, and you know that your side has probably changed a lot since the first time you played Croydon, and likewise Croydon have had a bit of personnel change as well. What's the focus leading into this game, given the deficit on the weekend?
Yeah, the focus is on us. So essentially working on what we need to work on. So that will be, I'd imagine, increasing our work rate, our preliminary moves, multiple options to ball, not just watching one person, all being accountable for ourselves. And similarly in defence, that one-on-one defence, whether we're setting one-on-one or setting a zone, making sure we're all on the same page and all accountable for each other. Korea built throughout the season, and they're notorious for being a club that's always super competitive and builds throughout the year. So we know it'll be a really, really tough game this weekend.
Hey Nads, obviously we've spoken at length about the versatility your side's got, and I know it's getting closer and closer where that deadline comes where you look at quarters played and so forth. Have you felt like you guys have felt the right? You've found the right setup for, I guess, the back end of the year going forward?
Yeah, I think part of that has been just giving players opportunities. Like we've had Jess McGlade come back from pregnancy, Sophie Hinkley back from pregnancy, Lara Taylor back from injury, Alicia Blaine back from injury, Amy Hammonds just played her first game on the weekend back from pregnancy. So I think our hand was a little bit forced in not having a settled sign at the start of the year because we wanted to give those girls the opportunity to showcase what they can do. But I know that Soph's probably got a bit of an idea now of her combinations and what works. She got to test a lot of those on the weekend. So I think, going into the back half of the season will be much more settled.
Hey Nads, really appreciate your time. You're a great Cobden person. We love having you on the Netball show. So good luck for this week and the rest of the year. I know, as you said, a lot of learnings from last weekend. I think it's all positive for the Cobden Bombers.
Yeah, we'll be. Kate and I will be coaching against each other in the Division 1 game this week. I'm very excited about.
Make sure you don't drop yourself, please, Nad.
Oh, I saw your list from last week and I've got a few questions too, Kate. We'll leave that there or we could be on here for another half an hour.
Hey, tell me, where are you guys situated on the ladder?
We're second.
And where are they guys first?
They're top.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's going to be a nail biter itself. Look out to find out. We might get you back on next week, Nads, just to get a review.
It's not. The open game isn't the most important, guys.
That's right. Hey, buddy, thanks so much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, guys.
See you, Nads.
Nadine McNamara from the Cobden Bombers. She's a legend. She's since she's come over from the Colac District League. Yeah. She's just been a great ingredient to that Cobden Bombers netball, and you can see why they're so strong. When you've got people like Nadine McNamara leading the charge, Sophie Hinkley, and the like.
Pretty lucky, aren't they?
Yeah, blessed with good people.
And I just love how complimentary she was at South. She wasn't on here to make excuses. No. And I just think that shows the calibre of person she is and player, and it's wonderful to have someone like her in our league. And we'll touch on the game later, but from people that I've spoken to are there said the minute she walked onto the court, the way she communicated and encouraged her teammates was incredible, and that's the type of person she is.
Yeah, and that's why she's won a league best and fairest too, because she's sort of that player as well. Hey, let's go to the Portland Tigers now. Hanlon Park got their first win of the season, and I reckon this could be the start of some momentum for the Portland Tigers. And Katie Zoynit is joining us on the Zoom. Katie, thanks for jumping on and having a chat.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey buddy, how good was it last week to finally get that first win? I think we've seen some really good glimpses from the Tigers this year, but to put it together for 4 quarters and to, I guess, break the monkey would have been, overall a nice feeling.
Yeah, no, it was. It was really great. Obviously, as you said, first win of the season, which was fantastic. I think we finally started to see a bit more of a flow, and what we've been working on at trainings, finally coming together. So it was great. Yeah, it was great for all of us.
As Trent said, it probably relieves, a little bit of pressure potentially. So moving into the second half of the season, now that you've got your first win, what does the second half look like, and what are some goals that the team are setting?
I think the second half of the season, obviously, we've not struggled, but had, it's been a bit harder for us to find those players. We've had a lot of injuries. Same thing, we've had one out with pregnancy. So definitely just looking to be more settled. Looking to hopefully put everything we work at training into our games, and that's what we definitely saw on the weekend was what we've been focusing on at trainings. We finally saw that come into our game, so that was great.
What was 1 or 2 things that you would take out of the game against Port Fairy that just worked really well and you were able to execute really well? Was there anything that stood out on your method on the weekend?
I think definitely our flow through the court. We finally were starting to get our timing right. I think working through from all the way from defence into our attacking end finally was starting to flow. And our defensive end, they were great as well. We had Tony Rowe, she's a fill-in, so she played for us, and her and Mads worked really well together. So yeah, just bringing it through the centre court and our flow, it was just great.
You had a player that played on a permit for you, Shakira, I think her name was, who's crossed over. I think she had a bye in her round. Do you expect to see her more throughout the season, or what's the opportunity to play her more in the Hampton League?
Yeah, so she plays for Southwest in the Southwest League at the moment. She plays for Haywood. We were hoping to see her quite a lot, but I think with rules and the regulations and everything, I think she can only play 3 games. But I know that I think their season might finish a little bit shorter than ours. I'm not 100% sure just with them making finals. I'm not sure where they are on the ladder or anything, but if they do finish before us, hopefully we will see her back for the last few rounds of the season for us. That would be great. But yeah, she played shooter and same thing. She just clicked with Heidi. They work so well together. And it was great. We'd love to have her, but yeah, rules and regulations obviously are very different.
Hey, Katie, Mum's obviously coaching this year. Alan, a great netball and basketball person in her own right. How's she gone during the first 9 rounds? And I know reading an article, I think it might have been in the Warrnambool Standard, like, as you said, injuries and pregnancy and so forth have sort of hit you guys pretty hard. I think 22 players or something I thought I read has gone through the Open Division side. So how's Mum been holding up? Because that's not an easy gig when you've got so many players, going through your Open Division side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's coached me in basketball forever, like every grade I can remember she's coached. But this is the first year she's ever coached me in netball, so it's definitely different. But yeah, as you said, we've had over 20 players that we've used through our open side so far due to injuries and pregnancy, people going away. So yeah, I'm not living at home anymore at the moment.
Probably a good thing.
But no, she's going good. She definitely is enjoying it. But yeah, it has been a struggle. But as we said, that first win last week, definitely, she almost cried at the end of our game. She was so happy.
Oh, fantastic.
I think we were all in the same boat. It's just glad to see us finally, settled and working well together.
Yeah, I think your best is certainly not far off the competition's best. So a big game this week against the Warrnambool Blues. Obviously over here at the Reed Oval, and I think you guys, if you can bring your A game like you've brought the last week and had some good passages in the weeks before, every chance you could really push the Blues.
Yeah, our first game of the season, obviously, we played them at home, and I think it was a really good start to the season. I think we went down by 4. That was the game that our goal shooter, she did her knee in the first 3 minutes, so she's been out ever since. But yeah, we did really push it against Warrnambool, and they're such a nice team to play, so we do enjoy playing them. But yeah, it'll be good. Coming off a win's always great. But yeah, no, it'll be exciting for us to train and then, as I said, put stuff into the game. So.
Hey, Katie, been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Really like your work over at the Portland Tigers, and realistically, I think you guys can have a really good second half of the year. Reset, and things go your way with injuries and availabilities. I think the Tigers can certainly hurt and push a few sides coming close to the finals as well. Yeah,
for sure. It'll be great to hopefully get a few more wins on the board. But as Nadine said last week, playing those South games and even Cobden, and it's just great. You get stuck kind of watching them, not realising you're playing them because they're such a great team. But it will be great. Hopefully get a few more wins.
Thanks for joining us on the Netball Show, Katie. Really appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Katie Zoynet from the Portland Tigers speaks well.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
really
she's,
well.
I was impressed. That's why I wanted to get her on. We had her on last year and spoke really well. I thought, no, we'll get her back on this year and talk about their first win. And she's probably one of the senior players in that lineup too.
And
obviously.
relatively young as well.
Yeah, relatively young. So, great for the Tigers. They had a great win. And we'll go through those round 9 results now. We'll have a look at the highlights. So the first game we're going to look at is the Cobden,
Croydon
and Terang Mortlake, and the Bombers, I should say the Saints. You tricked me there. The Saints got the job done there by 20 goals. And you would have seen this game. They're just playing some nice netball at the moment, aren't they, Croy?
Yeah, they are. And they jumped out of the gun straight away and had led, quite well all game. Layla Monk had an incredible game on Ebony Knights. Ebony Knights went to the bench at halftime, which is reflective of the pressure that Layla had put her under. And Terang were really good in patches. I thought Holly Castledine was good, who's, come back from a few weeks away.
Next game, Southbourne will take on Cobden. We both tipped the draw because we were too weak to try and pick a winner. But the Roosters flexed their muscles, and I think it was a 25-goal win in the end, and might have been even more. They were terrific.
They were, and from all reports, they were just, they came out of the blocks and were incredible. They were relentless for the full 60 minutes. And as Nads mentioned, Meg Kelson was unbelievable in her pressure on second phase, and she's probably one, along with Izzy Ray's probably one of the most underrated players in the league, and performed very well.
North Warrnambool took on the Warrnambool Blues out at Bushfield, and it was the North Warrnambool's prevailing by 6. Good game of netball from all reports.
Yeah, North shot 14-7 in the last to get the win. It was a bit of a seesaw game, so I think Warrnambool will be disappointed with their 4th again. Matilda Sulling, goalkeepers, had her 2nd best on court for her new club, and she's still eligible for under 17, so fantastic that she's performing out there.
Camperdown took on the Hamilton Kangaroos, and the young Camperdown Magpies, I thought, fought really bravely. 44 to Hamilton 69. We know how strong the Hamilton Kangaroos are, but great effort by the Magpies.
Incredible effort, and they were, the margin remained under 10 until the final quarter when Hamilton went on a 24-10 last quarter rampage. So, for Camperdown to stick with them for 3 quarters is pretty good, and I think that they'll take some confidence out of that game. And
obviously our game we just spoke about with Katie was Portland 61 defeating Port Fairy 48, so a pretty high scoring affair there, and great for the Tigers. So everyone's had a win now, which is terrific.
Yeah, it's good for the competition, and it means there's a little bit more openness sort of towards the back half of the year. We know probably who the top 5 or 6 are, but the bottom 3 or 4, they could be snagging another few wins each, which is really good.
They're going to have their own battle. So do you want to just quickly go through the top,
yes,
maybe top 6 or 7? Obviously, Terang Mortlake's still well and truly in calculation. So
we've got South on top on 36 points, Cobden on 30 in second, Koroit are 3rd on 28, Hamilton are 4th on 26, North are 5th on 20, and then we go to Warrnambool sitting in 6th, the game outside the 5 on 16 points, and Terang Mortlake on 12 points, and then we've got Portland, Camperdown and Port Fairy all on a win each.
Oh, still tight, and I look at some of the games coming up this weekend and next weekend before we have that bye, and wow, there's going to be some interesting ones there, and if things don't, if things take shape and so forth, maybe we might have a bit of a clearer picture. But the way the season's been, there's going to be a few surprises in my mind. And I think, after the bye, we're still going to be going, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? So a lot of uncertainty of where the season's going to go in my mind. So let's look at the games this weekend. Camperdown take on Terang Mortlake. That's our Hampton League Live match of the day up at the Lura Oval. Terang need a win. And they need to win pretty smartly. But in saying that, if Camperdown can bring the game that they brought against the Hamilton Kangaroos, they're a real chance. Yeah,
I think it will be a close one. I do think Terang will win. I think they'll be disappointed with the margin against Koroit, and there's probably, they had to make a lot of rotations on the weekend. So, I'd hope that they can stick with a more settled lineup if they can get them through the game. But in a close match, I think Terang will win.
I think the Bloods as well, but I think it's going to be under 10 goals. Hamilton take on North Warrnambool. This one will be at Petrina Park, obviously with the netball courts and so forth getting redeveloped at Melville Oval very soon. So, wow, big game. Obviously, North inside the 5, Hamilton flying as well. They want to sort of keep pushing for maybe top 3. Big game on the line for both sides. It's sort of an 8-point game, really.
It is, because if North drop this one and Warrnambool win, there's a chance that Warrnambool will overtake them in the 5. So to get some breathing space, North would be really hoping that they can win this one. But I think Hamilton will be too strong.
I think Hamilton as well. I love their process. I just think they're well coached, and you've got a couple of nice experienced shooters. Claire Crawford also too, Danielle Balcal.
And speaking of Danielle, she's actually coming into our interleague side to replace Sky Billings.
Oh, look out.
Yeah, Sky's out, unfortunately, due to a knee injury. So Danielle has offered her support and fantastic to be able to
Well,
take her
she's in
away.
red hot form as well too, which is good. So
yeah, it'll be really good for her.
This one's the match of the day for mine. Koroit taking on Cobden, and I've got a headache thinking about who I'm going to tip because the Saints are going beautifully. Gee, they're playing some good netball, but in saying that, I'd hate to play a Cobden side on the rebound.
I've thought the exact same thing. I think it will be a great game. I think it's going to be tighter than the first time they played. But, you know, I don't think Cobden will drop 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think they'll bounce back from last week. So, you know, sorry, Croy, but I'll pick Cobden on this one.
Gee, you might not be. You'd be relegated to deep in the
I
stands.
might not be coaching against Nads this week.
No, you might be demoted to the Koroit fifths or something or other. I think Cobden as well. I just think their side's pretty superior to a lot of other sides in the competition when they're flying. But in saying that, if Koroit can play the Koroit way and keep on playing the way they're playing, I think they're a chance to really make it a close game. But I think Cobden have just got a few aces in there.
And they're not at full strength yet, which we need to remember, given the scoreline on the weekend.
Yeah.
They're still managing players back through injury. So, you know.
Chucking Amy Hammond in there, league best and fairest winner. Gee, they just get stronger, don't they, the Bombers?
Luxury.
Warrnambool take on Portland again. This is a big one for the Blues.
I think Warrnambool will win. They need to win to keep that pressure on the top 5. And, you know, Portland are coming off a good win. We'll take some confidence from that. And I think it will be a close match. Warrnambool have faded in the 4th quarter. So if it's close at 3-quarter time, I'd probably tip towards Portland.
Yep.
But if Warrnambool can get a bit of a lead, I think they'll hold on.
I think the Blues get the job done. But if I was going to Portland, I'd be going back to the first round and just seeing how things were organised to look at that and say, listen, this is what we sort of need to do, and then work on what they did last week as well. But I think the Blues get the job done. And the Roosters take on Port Fairy. Hopefully we see, and I think we have seen over the last 4 weeks a really improved Port Fairy side. They've had a win, a high-scoring game against Portland last week. So there's certainly a lot of positives, but you've got to take your game to the next level when you come against the almighty South Warrnambool Roosters.
Yeah, it's a real challenge for Port Fairy, and hopefully that they can reflect on the game the first time they played South and, you know, potentially put a few more goals on the board and do a couple of things differently to tick some things off that they want to. But a very big challenge coming off a 24 goal trumping of the second-ranked side. I'd be a bit concerned if I was Port Fairy.
Yeah. Jeez, it's bloody hard playing against the Roosters, isn't it? I feel for the netball teams and the coaches. You could chuck in all these different scenarios and things, and they're just a good rounded side. And like, I was talking to Meg Carlson this morning at the gym and so forth. Like, what a luxury to have her in wing defence and just being a gator. Like, geez, they're a good lineup.
They are. They're a great lineup.
But I think there's I still think there's a lot of good sides in there that can certainly push them hard towards that back end of the year.
It will be a great final series, I think, because
could be one of the best. Could be one of the great ones.
I agree. There's so much competition for those, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And I think it's going to be fantastic when we get there.
Hey, we better thank our all-important sponsors, 3YB FM and Coast FM. Obviously bring you Hampton League live each and every week and have been long-term supporters of the Hampton Football Netball League. Power Call, we've got McDonald's, SunGold Milk, and also to Southwest TAFE, Mark Vidge and the team, plus all of our associate sponsors, Pit Stop Menswear, Frolic Lane, we've got Warrnambool Racing Club, Carter Group, Miss Kit, do a great job in Koroit Street in Warrnambool, Jodie Lay and the team. So we've got so many great sponsors. Now, when's the date that you guys go away for your netball weekend in Melbourne? So this Sunday, Association Champs Sunday.
Yeah.
So how are things shaping up?
Yeah, really good. We trained 3 times. We couldn't get an extra one in with the public holiday and stuff, but the girls train really well. And I think we've assembled a really strong side, and it's wonderful that there's representation across a lot of different clubs. We've got a very versatile side, nice mix of youth and experience, and we hope that we can emulate what we did last year or go further, which is to get into the final series would be fantastic.
How's Coach Jamison going? He's all planned and ready to go. Very meticulous planner, so I'm sure he's got every contingency lined up and ready to go. Great coach.
Yeah, he is a great coach. I told him today to stay away from the admin of the side. I'll deal with that, and he can just
dot the I's and cross the T's.
Correct. But the thing is, obviously, all players getting through Saturday unscathed, and that's
always, I guess, going into a Sunday. That's the touchwood moment that you just hope all of your 12 or 11 or 12 that you've selected go through unscathed.
Yeah, and I think because we've had to change the team a little bit due to some injuries already, it is a challenge to play Saturday and then back up with the Sunday. But that's the whole reason we've brought Danny Allen as an extra player, because it is a lot. It's all about player management. We need to make sure we're protecting the players. But yeah, we're really excited, and Will's, it's a fantastic opportunity for him to coach players from other clubs as well.
Yeah.
And for the club players to get coaching from him. So it's going to be great.
Well, good luck to all of our teams. We've got all our junior teams plus our Open Division team as well, and we'll have a really good wrap up of that next week on the Netball show as well. So enjoy your netball this Saturday afternoon. Good luck to all of our representative teams on Sunday as well. Behave in Melbourne,
I will.
okay?
And quick party popper for your birthday.
Oh, jeepers. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the show. Thanks to Katie Zoynett and also Nadine McNamara, and that really smells, the old party popper. On that note, we hope you enjoy the program. We'll see you next Thursday night.